大家好，欢迎收看本周的对话好莱坞，我是主持人社棒。说到好莱坞啊，大家第一想到的可能是商业大片，但其实洛杉矶的电影工业很重要的一个部分呢是独立电影。今天我们来到了 Nick Wyatt 好莱坞新人独立电影导演制片的 studio 中，来跟他聊聊他的独立电影制作人生。Hi Nick, welcome to Hollywood Talk. How are you doing today?
Good, thank you. How about you?
Well, good. Thank you for letting us shoot in your beautiful apartment. So, firstly, congratulations on you just started your first web series, right?
Right.
How exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's kind of in the early stages, but we're hoping to start shooting at the end of the month.
So, what is it like? What story?
To not give too much away, it's kind of a mixture of maybe Mr. Robot and American Psycho. It's about a suspect, the prime suspect in a murder investigation who's trying to solve the crime to make sure that he doesn't go to jail for a crime he didn't commit. So, yeah.
So it's gonna broadcast on?
It's gonna be on YouTube, and we're probably gonna put it on Vimeo as well, and then obviously like social media platforms like Facebook is gonna be a big platform for it.
What's your expectation on it?
Hopefully we get a good audience. It's going to be the first of many things to come on our YouTube channel. We're hoping to launch a few different projects, short films, stuff like that, more short mediums. And then we're hoping to, after every episode, have a different episode basically with like creator commentary. So as you can see how we created it, what was the thinking behind it, how we wrote it, the whole process. So it'll be 6 to 10 episodes in short form, somewhere between 3 to 10 minutes. And then cool little episode just showing the behind the scenes and how how the story came to be.
What style will be on?
So it's going to be kind of a thriller noir. It's going to be dark, and it's going to kind of really rely heavily inside the mind of the main character. So a lot of it's going to take place in this little bunker that he's kind of secluded himself to so that he can solve this crime. So a lot of it, we're left with this ongoing internal monologue that's going to serve almost as us trying to figure out, is he crazy? Is he not? Did he do it? Did he not? And so it's going to be kind of a whole, mystery in and of itself. So yeah.
Is it also your kind of filmmaking style?
Yeah, for sure. I like to err kind of on the dark side of things. I like stories about crime. I like stories that have violence or just explore kind of the darker side of things, but it's a little different than other things that I've done, as with regard to like really looking at it from the bad guy's perspective, or from like it might be the bad guy's perspective, we don't know. So yeah.
So you said it's different from what you've done.
Yeah.
So what kind of stuff have you?
Well, I've done a few commercials, and I've done a short film called Point, which was my thesis film in film school, but it was a 13-minute short film about a teenage ballerina who wanted to kind of get away from her overprotective, overbearing mother. And so it's a coming-of-age story. It doesn't live in this dark world that I kind of usually dwell in for the rest of my stuff, but I don't know, it was just kind of a story that was close to me, and I wanted to tell something about this like young girl that just wanted to
How was he close to
meet
you?
that. It was inspired by somebody close to me. They weren't a ballerina or anything like that, but it was just a young girl that wanted more, and I was just trying to create something that, showed maybe there is more. And so, I just thought that the ballet side of it was kind of a beautiful, structured way for her character to kind of go beyond where she's at right now. And so, yeah. So that's kind of where I came up with that whole idea.
And I know that you've been to the Marine before you went to film school. Is that where you get that dark kind of
I don't know. I think that I've always had like a dark side to me. I served in the Marines. I went in 2001. I was there for 4 years, and I'm not sure that it probably helped in the seeing the dark side of the world, because I've seen a few things that are a little bit dark. But I think that I've always kind of had a mind for like enjoying, just exploring things that we don't see every day. A lot of times our normal day lives, we may watch a movie that has that kind of stuff, but it's pretty much normal. Everything's kind of good. Not really that many not many bad things happen, but I don't know, it's kind of interesting to explore that side of the world, see something different. So yeah.
It's interesting because you've been to the Marine for 4 years, and then what made you decide to come to filmmaking?
Well, I've always had a love for film. Growing up, my roommate and I, now he's my roommate even today, but when we were kids, we used to make skateboard videos. So we grew up skateboarding and making our own little videos. And when we were kids, we used to shoot little short films. My brother was big into trying to create movies. They even shot their own little feature film that I helped them make. So I've always kind of had a love for film. But I just kind of felt like when I wanted to join the Marines, it was just something that I kind of had to do at the time. I had kind of shifted my focus on something different for a while.
Why did you have to do it?
I don't know. I mean, after 9/11, I was 16 years old, and that was I wanted to join that day, but obviously I couldn't. I was 16. I don't know. It just was something that I felt like I needed to do, and so I joined, and it was.
How was it like?
It had its ups and its downs, but overall, I wouldn't take it back. It was a good experience for me, and I think that, I don't know, you learn a lot about yourself when you're put in tough situations. So I think it made me a better person overall.
Going back to that period of time, what did you remember the most now that you think about it?
Well, there's a funny story. So in 2008, November 2008, we deployed to Afghanistan right before Thanksgiving. And so it was either our first or our second night patrol. To back up, we get there and we get to the main base, and I think a day or two later they said, pack your stuff up, you're going to the most dangerous, violent city in the world right now. We're like, great. We just got there, nobody's ever been in combat before. So we hop on a helicopter with machine guns all around it, and we fly into this zone, and this is an entirely bombed out city. There's no civilians or anything, it's just the Taliban and us. And there was some British soldiers and some Danish soldiers there, but other than that.
So a city in war completely.
Yeah, and it was in complete ruins and stuff. Now it was the winter, so it wasn't as, they don't fight as much in the winter or anything like that, but still it was like an interesting thing to see. So on our first or second patrol, it was a night patrol. We typically went out at night, and in this city you had to walk. You couldn't drive because there were so many bombs in the roads. You had to actually walk in a single file line with a metal detector in front to make sure there's not a bomb in the road. So we're walking through, and there's no lights whatsoever, so we have our night vision goggles on and you can barely see, and then all of a sudden the sky erupts with light, right? And we're like, we don't know what to do. You just have to take a knee because you can't go off. There might be bombs somewhere else. And so we can't, we're trying to get our eyes to adjust, and sitting right in front of us is a Soviet tank. And so we're sitting there and our hearts sink into our chest for about a minute, and then we realize the tank's bombed out and it's probably been there for a couple of decades. But at the moment, we thought that it was, that our lives were over before we really even had a chance to be there. And so what had happened is the guy in front actually had hit a trip flare that had been set by the British. So it's basically a line that shot a flare up into the sky. That's what lit it up. It basically alerts the base that people are walking through. But we, for that 1 second, thought that our lives might be over. So. So that was an exciting, kind of funny moment.
That was a fun movie right there.
Yeah, I'm sure that I'll try and work that in as a scene somewhere in a movie one day. So,
Definitely.
Yeah.
And so I heard that you have a feature in plan right now.
Yeah, so
also writing it.
Yeah, so I've written the script. It takes place kind of close to where I'm from. I'm from North Carolina, and I like, you know, a lot of movies take place in LA and New York and Chicago, major cities all through the world. And you know, I kind of wanted to have something take place a little bit closer to home. So it is on the darker side. It's about a hitman, and it's about him tracking deep into the Appalachian Mountains. But where it's a lot different is, you know, it tackles some heavy themes, but it also, you know, shows us a world that we don't usually get to see on film. You know, like I said, we get to see the urban streets of New York or Chicago or, you know, even other major cities around the world, but we rarely get to see those different types of societies that may exist out there. And so that's what I thought was interesting, and I think I have more of a perspective since I'm from near those societies, and so I've just kind of created a little universe in and of itself that I'm excited. You know, the script, I've got the script written, and now we're reaching out to investors for funding right now. So hopefully we're gonna shoot it towards the end of this year.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's gonna work out.
Yeah, we're excited.
Hey, Mom. Studio called. I'm sorry, sweetie. You didn't make it. Come here. I just wish you didn't feel like you needed to hide it from me.
And I thought you would...
Well, it doesn't matter. At least now you've got it out of your system. Besides, we're gonna have so much fun together this summer.
It's Jackson. I know the studio already called, but I just wanted to congratulate you myself. I knew you had it in you.
Now you're in LA, one of the biggest cities in the world,
Yep.
and everyone is busy. The pace is kind of fast,
Yeah.
not as fast as New York, but
No.
still fast. And you're doing film business,
Yep.
so how does that? Is it hard for you?
No, I mean,
Independent film as well.
well, I mean, obviously, independent film, it's a hard industry, but I think
Yeah.
that, you know, I've been through enough in my life to, like, you just
Be
got to
tough
work
about
hard.
it.
Well, you know, like I said, I kind of was able to do, not what I wanted to do, but I was given kind of the freedom to go out and explore for myself, so I wasn't kind of sheltered as a child. And then when I was 21, I joined the Marines, and I saw the world, and I saw a lot of different things, and then, you know, I went and got a degree in economics, and then I decided to come out here and make film. I've just kind of always been out on my own, being independent pretty much my entire life, so it's not that it's necessarily difficult, but, you know, I mean, it's not that it's not difficult, but I feel like, you know, I'm prepared for it. But yeah, the film industry is a difficult one, and LA is not an easy city. It's not a cheap city to live in, but I'm excited about it. So yeah.
Well, you sound like very positive, but
Yeah.
have you ever been in a difficult situation since you chose filmmaking?
Oh,
in
sure.
LA?
Yeah, when I got done with film school, I was kind of struggling where my path was going to be. I wasn't really sure.
Just like
you know.
other film students.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Film's a different kind of degree. You know, it's not like you get a it's not like you get a degree in
You
film
get a
and then
job.
like you walk to the director house and you go say I want to get a job as a director and then now you're a director. It's not the way it works. So it's really trying to pave your own way, and I think that like first trying to figure that out can be really difficult. And once you really understand that, I think you kind of just have to figure out your own way and do your own thing in this industry, especially now. It's not so bad. It's just you just got to keep pushing.
How did you figure out when you were confused?
Well, I just kind of sat there. I'd been working on a lot of other people's projects, and that was fun. It was a good experience, but I decided that 2016 I was really gonna take charge. I'm like, if I'm gonna make a go at this, then I've got to go all in it for my stuff, not for other people's projects. And so I felt like I really had to go after my own. I really had to go after my own projects. I really had to go after forge my own destiny. And it's really just, I had to decide what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it, and go as hard as I can at it until I decide that, if it's not working out, then I'll do something else, but I'm gonna give it all I got until then, so.
How many years are you giving yourself?
I don't have a prescribed amount of time. I don't know until I feel like I've given everything that I have to give. So if that's the rest of my life, then that's the rest of my life. If that's 5 years, that's 5 years. But I don't think there's any number metric or a measure of success that you can really give yourself that'll, you can say that I'm only going to give myself 5 years, but other great actors, great directors took 10, 12 years before they got themselves into the industry. It's on average, it takes 10 years for a screenwriter to really get their big break. So to put but then someone will get it for their first or second one. Look at Shane Black. He made Lethal Weapon when he was 24, and he's been a rock star ever since. But so there's no real metric, and I feel like putting that on myself wouldn't be fair because you never know what the future holds. If I say 5 years, and then 5 years and 1 day from now I get the biggest break of my life, I kind of sold myself a little short. So
Definitely, yeah. I mean, that definitely makes sense. And also, I feel like a lot of people do not understand how independent film project or independent web series project work. So for your web series, because you're making it right now, so it's already going.
Yeah.
So it's a successful independent project already. What was the first step you take?
Really, it all comes down to script. It all comes down with that idea and finding a story that you actually want to tell and you feel like somebody might actually want to hear, and really just going from there. I mean.
So first step, the script.
Yeah.
Really work hard on it.
Yeah, you gotta have the right story, or else nothing else really matters.
Okay.
But it's just about for this, I'm just gonna do it with my friends. I'm gonna do it on the side. This is gonna be a passion project. I'm gonna shoot it where I can, when I can, because I can. So it's just deciding to do it and just do it. Grab a camera and go shoot something with your friends. If you want to do something like a web series. Other projects that require bigger things may be a little bit more difficult, but in the age where everybody's got a camera in their pocket, really the sky's the limit on what the stories that can be told. So it just depends on whether or not you decide you want to do it. So.
I mean, the content is the most important thing after all.
It is, and I think that it takes a lot of time and a lot of time behind that camera to really find something that you're good at. You got to shoot 10,000. They say 10,000 hours before you actually are a good director. So I think that I've got a few hours left to put in there. But yeah, I mean, it's really just about going out there and just doing whatever you feel like you should do, but don't hold back, don't wait.
So for your feature project, that's different from the web series, because the web series is more like a passion with friends. So how does a feature project? So you first have the script down as well.
Yeah, that I obviously spent a lot more time on the script because it's a lot longer.
Yeah.
And then I decided that this was one. I had written a few other scripts, but this was one that I decided that I think I can actually do this one. And so after that, I started writing a business plan. You know, it's
business
like
plan.
yeah.
Second
So
step.
I mean, yeah, the next step was
what
coming
are
up.
what are on the business plan?
It's boring. But basically, you just have to prove that you've got a solid plan. I mean, a film,
target
a film,
audience.
a film is the exact same thing as a business.
Yes.
I mean, when you start a business, it has to make money, and a film needs to make money. It's the film business. It's not the film fun. And so, you know,
So
you have
target
to.
audience.
Well, you have to you have to have a marketing plan. You have to have your executive summary. You have to have a distribution plan. You have to have your investment plan. You have to look into tax incentives and what actors you would want. Just basically anything that if you're looking for investors, you need to make them confident that you've gone through everything to make sure that you're not going to lose them their money. I mean, that's the same thing. You know, you can invest in a startup company. You can invest in Walmart. You can invest in a film, but
Yeah.
you know, when you invest in a film, you need to know that the person behind that film is not just going to lose all your money. And so it really, that, you know, was a new test for me because, you know, it's a lot different. There's the writing on the creative side when you're doing a script, and then there's the
writing on
business
the
side
business
is the producer side. But, you know, I do have a degree in economics, so that
Yeah, and
does
you did
help.
marketing.
That does help. Yes, I did do some marketing, so it does help. But you know, it's and writing a business plan for film is completely different than writing a business plan for even a company, because the film world is very volatile. An independent film, you know, there's so many different factors that can make one a success or one not a success. What opens that weekend could be the difference between whether your film's a success or not. So really it's just about going through the steps to make sure that you understand that you're prepared and you're showing other people that you're prepared. And that, you know, it's difficult, but I think that it's smart for anyone going out there to start their own venture, whether it be a film or a business or whatever, to really sit down and write down the plan and ask themselves the questions that someone else is going to ask. If you're asking someone for money, then you should be able to answer all of their questions so that they feel good about that. And so that was the next step, which is it's a big step, but yeah. So
after that,
we're about to start reaching out to investors. I'm starting to reach out to production companies and other producers to kind of try and come on board with the project and give it a little bit more steam. But I kind of had to give this one life myself. You know, I had to build it from the ground up so that they can see that I'm ready to take on this type of role too. And so yeah, that's the next. We're gonna, you know, start reaching out to casting directors and actors and investors and stuff like that to try and get the ball rolling, move this thing forward.
so you get investors first, right? The deal closed first.
It's kind of a, oh yeah, I mean, you get investors before you shoot the film, but you know, sometimes it's a catch-22 because an investor will want to see that you've got actors attached, and actors will want to see that you've got money, so you've got to figure out it's a nice balancing act on trying to get an investor to prove that they'll give you the money so that you can talk to the actors so that they'll say, yes, I'll do the project since the money's real. But yeah, and then, you know, they kind of both go hand in hand around the same time.
And then after the casting,
just building the crew, building the world, location scouting, going through all the permits, just everything. It's a huge process.
But at that time, you already got your money. The deal has already been closed.
the deals will be locked once we move into pre-production. Yeah, so once we basically got everything in a row, all our ducks in a row, then, you know, we'll kind of move into pre-production, and we're gonna try and move pretty quickly through that and then on to production.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but it's exciting.
Definitely, yeah.
It's super exciting. Gotta take it one step at a time, one day at a time.
So guys, independent film are not easy to make at all.
No, it's starting your own company every year.
I know.
So every time you want to make a new independent film, you're basically starting a new company from scratch. So
Wow, that's
which is never easy. But you know, I can only say from those who came before me that it seems like once you do one, you'll be able to get that next one, and once you do the next one, you'll be able to get the next one.
So it starts to roll.
Yeah, you know, you've got to prove that you can do one thing before you do the next. You know, they don't want to give you $10 million if you can't shoot a $10,000 project. But you know, so it's step by step. So you just got to work hard, and I think that in this industry, like in most things in life, working hard pays off. You know, you get out of it what you put into it.
So what would you say your biggest ambition or your goal is in filmmaking?
I mean, I really just want to create stories that I want to tell. So, you know, I want to make films or TV or web series. I just want to tell stories that I'm interested in, and I get to explore. I'm not going out there to try and be the next Chris Nolan or Steven Spielberg. That would be great, but I think that setting that kind of goal may set yourself up for failure. Whereas I just want to go out there and try and tell the best stories that I can tell, and the ones that mean something to me.
So you are a storyteller, filmmaker. That's your identity.
Yeah, I think so. Until somebody tells me otherwise, I think that's what I'm gonna go. What I'll go with.
Well, good luck on everything that you do.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you do fine.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Skip got himself all dolled up for a little backyard BBQ. He even put on his dancing shoes. Could it be the girl of his dreams? Hold it! Skip didn't check his shoes. Bad Skip. Oh, man! Should have sent the shoes to Wyatt and Dad. Good job, Skip. Fix it where it crush it. At Northgate Mall in Durham.